breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
Good morning. I am attorney Lisa Bloom. With me is my law partner Eric Fudali and my client Lana Drews. Lana will be reading a statement. Eric Fudali and I will also have statements. Lana will not be answering questions. Eric Fudali and I will be answering questions after the statements. Thank you all for coming. Lana?
Hello, everyone.
Get closer to the microphone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Drews. In 2018, while I was living and working as a model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion software company, I had contact with Eric Swalwell on 3 separate occasions after meeting him socially. He offered me connections to further my software company.
All right, so I'm going to stop there first of all. You guys are a glutton for punishment. I put up a poll, see how many of you guys wanted to see this, and as of right now, it's about 80% want to see this woman's public execution of Eric Swalwell. Now understand, I am, as a man, I am not going to step into this foray. I am not going to enter any opinion. I am not going to try and sway your thoughts. Each one of you are an adult. You can listen to what she says. You can say whether or not you believe her, absent the fact of Eric Swalwell's pretty much a scumbag anyway. But that whole thing about Me Too, I got too many questions. I'm not gonna try and get you to tell me or convince me one way or the other. I'm just gonna play it. It's gonna play through. This is about 18 minutes, and I'm gonna look at your comments. I'm gonna see your comments on the screen as you listen to this woman basically allocute to everything that happened to her in 2018. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And now you're coming forward. Got it. Not going to question it. Second part of this is, as she just said, I was a model and I had a software company, and Eric Swalwell was going to introduce me to some people that helped my business. Quid pro quo? I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stay out of this. My wife said, you don't know what a woman goes through. Like, I don't. But you women in here, I'd love to see what your comments are. So let's get back to it.
And I also had an interest in local politics. He invited me to 2 public events. I knew he was married at the time and that his wife was pregnant. He was my friend. On the 3rd occasion, I believe he drugged my drink. I only had 1 glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body.
All right, so just to let you know what the beep was, because the censors here don't like certain words. So if you hear the beep throughout this, understand she's being a little bit graphic and using, like the grape juice word. Grape juice, yeah, if you know what I mean. And then, so you're going to hear that a few times, just so you know what these beeps are.
And he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any activity. Although I did not undergo a kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar. The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a center in Connecticut. It had a profound impact on my mental health. I self-medicated in an unhealthy way. I did not want to live anymore. I cried all the time for years. At the time, I was in a dating relationship with a boyfriend I was fully committed to. I've never cheated in my life, and I would never have engaged in a consensual encounter with Eric Swalwell. That reality further underscores the non-consensual nature of what occurred. It was a politically unusual and intense time in Beverly Hills, and I was considering a run for city council, which placed me in proximity to political figures and events and added to the pressure to remain composed and silent. Eric was aware I owned a software company, and he spoke repeatedly about his ability to make introductions in Silicon Valley, referencing his political representation and influence there. I was not interested in him romantically, but I was interested in the business relationship and professional connections he offered to provide. My delay in taking action against Eric was driven by fear, not doubt. Fear of his political power, his background as an attorney, and his family law enforcement ties. I have never doubted what happened. I stand with the other women who have come forward, and I will be making a report to law enforcement shortly with my attorneys.
I think you have to switch places with Eric.
I gotta go now.
Hello, my name is Eric Fudali. I'm a partner and I'm the managing attorney of the Bloom firm, and I'm very proud here to represent Lana. Mr. Swalwell and others have suggested that the allegations against him have or may have political motivations. Those on the other side of the aisle have already begun exploiting his accusers for political gain. I want to say very clearly that neither myself, Lisa, nor Lana care or concern ourselves with the political affiliation of the accused or how these allegations may or may not affect a political campaign or a career. This is about much more than politics, and belittling such serious allegations is offensive to Lana and the victims everywhere. This is not about Democrat versus Republican. This is about accountability versus silence. This is not about the pursuit of governor. This is about the pursuit of justice. This is not about whether you're on the right side or the left side of the aisle. This is about whether you're on the right side or the left side of justice, truth, and accountability. This is not about the end of a campaign or congressional service. This is about the end of exploitation and the abuse of power, political or otherwise. Lisa and I have dedicated our careers to fighting the power in the name of justice, regardless of the politics of the perpetrator. My hope is that this message both encourages others who are suffering in silence to stand up and fight, and also I hope this encourages the grossly politicized American public and politicians to put politics aside when it comes to allegations like these and stand up for what is right and not what is just politically convenient. Thank you.
Hi, I am attorney Lisa Bloom, and I'm very proud to represent the very brave and strong woman sitting next to me today, Lana Drews. Lana deserves what all women deserve: autonomy over her own body. Every minute of every hour of every day of her life, her body is hers to control. And no man, no matter his position of power or station in life, ever has the right to make that decision for her. As her attorney, I have advised Lana of her legal rights. Immediately, we will be filing a police report with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office, which is the law enforcement agency that has jurisdiction over incidents that happen in West Hollywood. Lana is committed to fully cooperating with law enforcement, and we will do everything possible to assist and support her in that. We will be providing all of her evidence there, including text messages, journal entries, photograph, and witness information. We will encourage the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office to fully and promptly investigate her complaint. We will also cooperate with any other law enforcement agencies who are investigating Mr. Swalwell. For example, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which we understand has already opened an investigation. Because Lana and our law firm are here not just for her, but for the other women, to be helpful in any way that we can. We will not rest until we get justice for Lana. I want to say something now directly to Mr. Swalwell. Your recent statement that you are just not perfect, you are not a saint, is just blather and spin. Stop it. Your statement that this is all just a matter between you and your wife is laughable, if not for the fact that it is a slap in the face to the victims. Your statement yesterday that you just made, quote, mistakes in judgment is defensive and minimizing. Stop it. Own your behavior. To any other women out there who want to talk to us, and I have received messages from other women, we are here to talk to you. To anyone else who is a witness who wants to talk to us, we are here and we want to talk to you. Of course, for free and confidentially. I am very easy to reach via my website, thebloomfirm.com. Supporting women like Lana, who stand with the other women and who show such tremendous courage, is my absolute pleasure. Questions?
Could you please spell your client's name and also
Yes.
tell us when this occurred?
It happened in 2018, as she said. Her name is Lana, Lonna, Drews, Drews.
How many people have reached out to you that you just mentioned, and have you heard from Mr. Swalwell saying he's going to fight these allegations?
3 other women have reached out to me just since I announced this press conference yesterday. I have not heard from Mr. Swalwell, no.
Swalwell has dropped out of the race for governor. He's resigned from Congress. What's the next form of justice for you? Because those would be what people would say. That's the political motivation. What's justice now?
Justice now are the criminal investigations. So losing one's job is not a sufficient consequence for these types of allegations. We feel that the criminal investigations are the priority.
So Lisa, are you representing both civilly and criminally, and do you think that Eric Swalwell should face criminal charges for this incident?
We are making a report to law enforcement. We are encouraging them to fully investigate. That is the priority right now.
Will you be filing that today? Will you be going to?
We will be going immediately.
What's your message to Swalwell's wife and children, his family, who's going through this right now?
You know, I have nothing but sympathy for his wife and his children. I'm sure this is a very difficult time for them.
And the three women you say who've reached out to you, are they based in California or are they elsewhere?
I'm not going to provide any additional details or information about the three who have already reached out.
What legal hurdles do you anticipate in this investigation?
I mean, that'll be up to the law enforcement. Our priority at this point is just to make sure that Lana makes the complaint, makes the report to law enforcement. How they handle the investigation, their strategy, and what hurdles they may, they may find is up to them.
Lisa, often these victims, these women feel that no one will listen to them, no one will believe them. When this news broke over the weekend, did this give your client the feeling that someone would finally listen and it was time to come forward?
Thank you, Jim. You know, I think we've all learned enough to know now that when it comes to it takes time for women or any victim to process what happened, to understand how to deal with the trauma, to work through it, and to get to a point where she is strong enough to come forward. It takes time. That's why the law has extended statutes of limitations, time deadlines to file, because the law recognizes that allegations are different, and it just takes time. So for Lana, now is the time. And even now, it's very difficult, but she's doing it.
Ms. Drews, had you followed Eric Swalwell's political career, and if you're comfortable talking a little bit about how that made you feel, and you know, just kind of seeing his face?
She's not going to be answering any questions.
Okay.
She had her statement. But
Can you answer that?
Thank you. Was she following his career? I don't know.
Ms. Bloom, I guess some who know Mr. Swalwell have suggested that he was living a secret life, a double life, and they were absolutely gobsmacked at all of the accusations that have come. Whether in this particular instance, or perhaps in your experience, is that usually the case, that people who are around someone like him are just totally in the dark on this, or are there clues? Are there people who should have known something was wrong?
Well, it is very common when someone is multiply accused of misconduct that the people around them don't know. That's very common. Or any kind of crimes. People on the street often say, I had no idea. So I think that's pretty common.
Do you have a message for the social media content creators who started publishing some of these allegations and helped these women to realize maybe for the first time that they were not alone in what happened?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to the women on social media, to the women who have already come forward, to anyone who has been an advocate, anyone who has assisted. It's very hard to do this by yourself. And anyone who can support women, who can help them, who can advocate, who can speak out, it makes a tremendous difference. So thank you.
And I'll add to that, there's a phenomenon we see in our line of work. It's called collective empowerment, that when one woman comes forward or one victim comes forward against their abuser, it often empowers, like a domino effect, multiple other women to come forward. This is why Lisa and myself are always encouraging women to come forward, stop suffering in silence, because not only are you saving yourself, but you're also saving someone who you are empowering, who you will probably never meet, to come forward and step up and start fighting against their abuser.
Lisa, you said that you're going to ask the Sheriff's Department to investigate the case, and
Yes.
you're going to cooperate with other entities, law enforcement agencies.
Correct.
What is the final objective of this? What do you
Justice.
want to see? Where do you want to see him?
Justice, that's the final objective. Justice for Lana. Yes?
Can you describe where that photo was from? And
Yes.
Can you give us any more details about the text messages or any evidence?
So this is a photograph that we've enlarged, obviously. It was the opening of a restaurant called Avra, A-V-R-A, in 2018, and it's one of the times that Lana described where she met with Eric Swalwell.
Will the firm be releasing any additional supplemental material to the media?
Not to the media, to the sheriff's office. We will be providing all of our evidence to the sheriff's
Can you repeat which set of the
office.
picture? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
So this was the opening of a restaurant called Avra, A-V-R-A, where this is Ms. Drews, this is Mr. Swalwell, in 2018.
How many times have the two seen each other or met each other?
Right, so 3 times, as she said in her statement. There was no contact after the incident.
Would this be the first time law enforcement is contacted?
By us? Yes,
By
yes,
this-
yes.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay.
Could you react? We have 2 congressmen now resigning before expulsion, and just a reaction to that before this move forward.
Enough is enough. Of course, anyone in a position of power who is credibly accused of abusing a woman or anyone should step down. Of course, it should never happen in the first place. I think the American public is sick and tired of these stories, and I'm sick and tired of women being victimized by men in power. Enough is enough. It's really appalling. I'm glad at least these 2 have stepped down. There are 2 more who are being investigated in Congress for misconduct and facing expulsion. I can say briefly about Mr. Swalwell resigning from Congress yesterday. I do not, in my opinion, see that as an act of accountability at all. I see it as an effort to avoid the expulsion hearing that was coming, because once he steps down, the Ethics Committee no longer has jurisdiction to impose consequences on him. So even though he made some kind of a statement about I made mistakes, et cetera, very vague, not really owning up to anything, certainly not apologizing to women. I believe that was the reason why he stepped down, to avoid that hearing. However, there are other consequences, such as law enforcement, and that's what we're doing now.
What would you consider accountability?
Justice via the criminal justice system.
But also civil?
Right now, we're focusing on the criminal justice system. We think that's the most appropriate.
Would you be a little more specific in justice? Can you tell us what exactly you're looking for?
I'm not, because once you make a report to law enforcement, it is in their hands. We can control what we can control, which is we will answer all of their questions, we will cooperate, we will provide all of the evidence. And then the LA County Sheriff's Office and the Los Angeles District Attorneys will make a decision that they feel is appropriate. Okay, thank you, everyone. You go first.
So I realize this is a very, very difficult subject, very difficult. No matter, people are going to have opinions all over the spectrum. But the thing with it is, remember, I asked you if you wanted to see it, and 80% of you said show it. That's why I showed it. I knew it would be met with a little bit of pushback, a little bit of side eye. And this is one of those things where it's just purely news. I don't know. I wasn't in the room. I definitely wasn't around 8 years ago. And so this is one of those things that everybody is going to have an opinion one way or the other. And I'm not going to give anybody my opinion because it doesn't matter. At this point, it's actually, and I was surprised. I thought she was going to say they were going to be suing Eric Swalwell civilly, which then that would be about money. And when he asked her that last question, he asked her, what is your idea of accountability? And her answer means they want his ass in jail. They have referred this to as a criminal act. And as a criminal act, they're going to have to charge him in California. They're going to have to try and basically put him in jail. And so it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing. And I don't know if he wants that kind of discovery. I don't know if he wants people digging into his past. Obviously, she does, because she knows what's coming next. She's going to have to go into court. She's going to have to put her hand on a Bible. She's going to have to make all the statements in order to get the accountability that her lawyer says that that's what they want. So at this point, once you have filed the criminal complaint, you can't back out. You can't get a check and go, never mind, just play. She's in. She's pushed all her chips all the way in, and Swalwell, his goose is cooked. Never mind politically. He may end up in jail. And there's rumors at this point, excuse me, reported that some of these antics may involve underage women. And then today, Ruben Gallego, who is one of his best buddies, threw him under the bus. I didn't know nothing about it. Now, I'm going to have an opinion about that. My best buddies pretty much know all my indiscretions. They would know if somebody came to them and said, hey, Barry got caught dealing drugs. Nah, they ain't him. Wrong guy. They know right away. And I'm pretty sure your friends would know the same thing about you. Nah, that ain't her. That's not him. He ain't like that. Barry got caught beating up some guy. Yeah, I could see that. He got mad and he punched some guy in the face. Yeah, he's got that kind of temper sometimes. And I'm saying this because I'm pretty sure your friends, for the most part, if they're close friends, can tell you if somebody labeled something against you, they would know. So I think Ruben Gallego is full of crap. I think Ruben Gallego is covering his own buttocks at this point. Now, let's pull back, shall we? Let's pull back from this one case. Does anybody think, anybody at all think that people, the Democrats, didn't know what this guy was doing? Did anybody think that maybe the Republicans didn't know what this guy was doing? So obviously, if you're like me and you know how your friends know different things about you, this has probably been a long-held secret amongst many secrets these people in Congress have. Maybe now we take the broom and start sweeping them all out. Maybe they all have to have some personal accountability. Damn knows they put Trump through it. They put Trump through trials and indictments and impeachments. And these limp-wristed Democrats and Republicans just looked the other way while whatever Eric Swalwell was allegedly doing. We have a big problem at this point because you have to agree at this as you look at this and go again. And you start thinking to yourself, that whole big slush fund for harassment and stuff, and you've been paying settlements over the years. To who? Why? Because of who? There are some secrets up in Washington that have been secrets for a long time. And I think part of the reasons why these people despise Donald Trump is that he probably knows lots of these secrets. He probably is going to expose many of these secrets. Not been time yet, but think how many of these people have skeletons in their closet. Think how many of these people have done the exact same thing or worse than Eric Swalwell. That's the big story. The big story is we need to rip the Band-Aid off this crap and find out every single person, as many people as possible, who has been doing what and who have they been paid to keep people quiet. To hell with your NDAs. This should be something in Congress. If you did something, your NDA doesn't count. You're not a normal citizen. You are an elected official. If people got dirt on you and you paid them off and made them sign an NDA, nah. They can come out and tell you what they did. Yeah, he did it or she did it, however the case may be. But I am not going to pass judgment in any way, shape, or form on that woman, especially since it's a criminal case and not just a civil lawsuit. That makes it a whole different realm. Oh, Eric's got some problems. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking maybe they'll sweep it under the rug. You're not going to sweep this under the rug. This woman Bloom, who says that her attorney, I think she's the daughter of Gloria Allred. You're not going to sweep this under the rug. They're going to come for you. Now, I don't know why it took so long. I don't really care why it took so long. That's not for me to decide. What I do see is there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out with Discovery because I don't know if he's going to be able to pay off the cops in an election year. That's the other part. How many of the officials in California are going to lay their own cojones on the line during their election year? I don't think he's going to get any favors. So I got nothing for you. Can't help you. So whoever did this, and I'll go back to the Godfather movie, I don't know who gave the order. You remember Hiram Roth? Who gave the order? I don't know who gave the order. He was talking a lot of smack. He was headstrong. And when he turned up dead, I said, this is the business we've chosen. If you've seen the movie, you know what I just did. And right now, Eric Swalwell, Ruben Gallego, Nancy Pelosi, all these politicians, this is the business you've chosen. And everyone's wondering, where did this come from? How did it happen? Who gave the order? Because the part of this order being given means somebody had the information. And because they had that information, you had to wonder, when were they going to expose it? So it gets exposed in April instead of October. There's no October surprise. They put two in the back of his head in April. Who controlled that? I don't know. I don't know who controlled that. But in any event, that's news, and I don't want to put any opinion on the woman, and really, I don't want to put any opinion on Eric Swalwell in this matter. I think he's a scumbag in general. In this matter, let's just look at the news. Let's see how the facts come out. Let's see what the evidence is, and let it play out at this point. But you know what's probably going to happen? You're probably going to see a media blackout. Now that he's out of Congress, now that he's out of the governor's race, I bet you the media won't have any interest in this. This will be page 12, section C stuff. It's only going to get interesting as if more politicians get dragged down. If nobody else, if Ruben Gallego comes out, clean on this, you won't even hear about it. It'll be just back page stuff. It's not of interest, which is a shame because, we should know what's going on. SB, you there? What you got?
Hey, well, and good news, the stock market's up about 356 points, so I'm going to stick with my prosperity news. We got to have some good news. A lot of stuff happening. I know it's really kind of crappy, but yeah. And I texted you just a few minutes ago. I saw that Rep. Tony Gonzalez has just resigned from the U.S. House of Reps. He submitted his letter to the clerk. Apparently, I did a little grok. I didn't know much about him. He had admitted to some extramarital affair with a former staffer that later died by, something else there. But
and we got to say it. Let's be honest. He was a Republican.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See,
most people know that.
I don't.
It goes on both sides.
Yeah, like this. We're looking at a cesspool up there, and we need to weed out some of these people. And so, not as much of a focus has been put on what's his name, Gonzalez, but people need to realize it went both ways. He is a Republican, and then dirty deed stuff. We've got another woman down here in Florida, right down the road in Tamarack, who stole like $5 or $6 million, and she's about to get kicked out. And today, right. Mike Johnson said, "I want her out," so she's going to start facing the music as well. So it's. You imagine it? We're going into the midterms, and right as of today, there's basically going to be 3 or 4 people who are going to be expelled, in addition to all the ones that aren't running again. So it's going to be it's going to be a free for all from here until October. It's going to be
there's a lot of other evil stuff going out there. I just read this. You probably hasn't even heard about this. Came up 15 minutes ago. FBI and Atlanta police are going after this group called 764. Have you heard about it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they got 50 plus cases in Georgia already.
Wow.
These guys target kids as young as 9, gain their trust, and then start threatening and controlling them. Some kids are even get pushed into harming themselves or doing messed up illegal stuff. This is all happening online. So
Wow.
it says, be careful. Parents really need to stay on it. I mean, it's every different angle they're coming at you.
Yeah.
A lot of demons, a lot of demonic stuff.
A lot, a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move into the good stuff here in a second, and
To the show.
so I'll be back with you, and then we'll jump into the show here. Thank you very much.
You got it.
All right, before I jump into the actual show, because that was just something we just wanted to cover, let me tell you about one of today's sponsors is the Tax Network. Do you owe back? It's April 15th is tomorrow. Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? Or have you filed every year, but you still owe money? Did you retire and suddenly get hit with a tax bill you didn't expect? Are you a business owner with messy books and a balance you can't afford to pay? Maybe you pulled money from your 401k or your IRA early, and now the IRS wants its piece. It happens. However your tax issue started, the main thing right now is the outcome would be the same. Your balance isn't going to go down. Penalties grow interest compounds, and many of you are about to owe again for this upcoming tax year, and you never get off this treadmill. And then you have no plan to get it fixed. So stop what you're doing. Tomorrow's April 15th. If you need some help, call Tax Network USA. The IRS isn't going to wait. The IRS is enforcing collections through wage garnishments, bank levies, and property seizures. They can even file for you without your consent. This is where Tax Network USA comes in. With over 15 years in business, there hasn't been a tax case they haven't seen or resolved. They specialize in tax controversies and help taxpayers nationwide get back on track by resolving back taxes and unfiled returns. Once and for all, be done with it. Whether you owe $10,000 or hopefully not $10 million, their team has resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. They can do the same for you, but you have to call now. They're offering a free investigatory call with the IRS. After that call, they put a clear case plan in place to resolve your tax problem and get you back on track. This is about using your legal rights to take control before the government sets the terms for you. Don't wait for another IRS letter or a frozen bank account. Call 866-686-1377. That's 866-686-1377, or visit tnusa.com/Barry, or click the link in the description below. All right, let's get going.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
If you watch this show for any length of time, you know, just like I said in the intro there, prosperity. One man wants to see prosperity. And everybody, it seems like, well, not everybody, but most of the people in the media and a lot of the Democrats and many Republicans don't want to see you prosper. They completely will do anything to try and get your mind to think that Trump is evil and everything he's doing is just for millionaires and billionaires. You've heard it over and over. They don't say millionaires as much anymore because most of them are millionaires, but they used to say millionaires and billionaires. And what they're not talking about is how it affects you personally. And I talked a good deal about it yesterday in terms of how the tax returns are skyrocketing, in terms of the refunds that people are getting, the amount less that people have to cut checks for, and then all the things that are going on with this temporary situation in Iran. And I do mean temporary, and other people are now understanding that as well. I've been telling you guys for probably close to a year, watch the trend lines. Watch what's happening. Make your moves accordingly. And I say it as much as like President Trump has taught me is you got to keep giving that message because the bad guys keep trying to tell you otherwise. The trolls, the Democrats, the libtards, they don't want you seeing the good information. And they don't want to see you trained on how to see where the puck is going. They'll do it because it makes them a lot of money, but they don't want you to know. They don't want the common people to understand, wow, this is pretty good. If you go back and look at some of the videos we did back in January, President Trump was making speeches when he was talking about all the things he was going to do. And he's like, watch, give it a couple months. It's going to, you're going to see. They laughed at him. Scott Bassett, watch, you'll see after all this stuff kicks in, the big, beautiful bill. They don't want you to see that. Hakeem Jeffries every single day puts out something about one big, ugly bill. They're full of crap. And if you've watched this show, and I have to say, because I watch so many others, if you watch this show, I've been trying to tell you and show you, and then give you information so you can go look it up yourself and watch it and see what's happening. So let's go to the board, shall we? The first thing I want to take you to, we're going to go to this board here. Bathe in this. Look at what you're seeing. The stock market has been up almost, yesterday and today, even though it went crazy last week because this closing the Strait of Hormuz didn't freak everybody out. In fact, it made the ships turn around and head to America. And it took like 48 hours of people like, whoa, this is effing fantastic. This is gonna work. To hell with Iran. Iran's losing $400 million a day. A day. Without us firing any shots. Just putting up a line and saying, hey, you can't come in here. All right, let's go, because money don't wait. So that's one thing you have to realize. The media and the Democrats want you to think the world's in turmoil. But what happened with the people who have to make money, who have to sell oil, who have to have this product? Where we got to go? Let's go over there. Let's go pick it up. Trump told us to come over. Let's go do it. And as of today, knock on wood, the Iranians haven't even been able to respond. There's no mines blowing up right now, knock on wood. There's nothing happening. No, there's no planes. Nobody's dropping bombs. They just turned off the spigot and said, come on over here. And then when that happens, this started happening. So if it was all doom and gloom, how did it turn around so fast? Well, I can show you that as well. It turned around fast because of that. You have seen such volatility in the oil market that you've probably never seen in any other market the way this has been. It went all the way up to 120 and bam, that's what it is right now. And let me pull the chart up further. It just keeps dropping. How can that be? We're in a war. Trump didn't know what he was doing. There was no plan. How are we going to get out of this? We need an off-ramp. There's your off-ramp. That's one hell of an off-ramp. Tony Hawk couldn't skate that off-ramp. If you don't know who Tony Hawk is, he's a big skateboarder. But look at that. Straight, almost straight down. There's your off-ramp. What was it? Come over here. We're going to sell stuff to you. And then all of a sudden, everything goes green. Everything goes back to the way it's supposed to be. Silver. Bam. 5% today. Making my wife and me happy. 5% today. It's gone up and heading up. And if you want to look at that and bring it out there, you can go to like a 1 month view. Like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then you go 6 months, it's 57% in the last 6 months. Over the last year, it's up almost 150%. They don't want you looking at that. They don't want Americans ever knowing that prosperity is right there. I know, I get the emails, but Barry, not everybody can buy silver and gold. Not everybody can even buy a one coin like that. Not everybody can do that. I understand, but you can do other things. Where'd gold do? Let me see what gold is at. Gold, same thing. Chart straight up, 2% today. How can this be happening if everything Trump has been doing is wrong? Because they've been lying to you. And I told you how to read polls before. I want to show you something. There was a poll that came out, I think it was today. And I just could not believe what I had seen, what I have seen. And so this was the poll that came out. And the poll said nearly 40% of Americans said they have less than $500 in cash savings. And right away, I looked at it and went, bull, you know what? Bull crap. That means nearly 4 out of every 10 people in your surrounding. You go to a family meeting, you go to work. What this poll was saying was 4 out of 10 only had $500 in cash savings. Notice what it says here. I want you to pay attention. They only talked about cash savings. They didn't talk about IRA. They didn't talk about gold or silver. They didn't talk about real estate. All they were talking about is cash savings. So me being the antagonist that I sometimes can be, I pretty much realized that, and I posed this question. I said, hey, Grok, what percentage, and I didn't know this, I took a shot, I could have been completely embarrassed. What percentage of that 40% likely have jobs? Is there methodology, which is, who'd you take the poll from, published about this study? And if so, please link it. Because that's the news. The news is dig in. Wait a minute, 40% of people don't have $500. Well, number one, who'd you poll? Number two, please define, these people work or not work. And so now watch me dissect that data that you just saw. Actually, we'll let Grok do it. And here's what Grok had to say about it. The Fox 5 report references a lending tree deposit account survey. It wasn't from Fox 5. Methodology. Question Pro conducted an online survey, all right? 2,000 U.S. consumers aged 18 to 80. Okay, sounds right there, sounds pretty good. Non-probability sample with quotas for population representation. Cash savings equals checking and savings. Brokerage, CDs, and cash at home. That's interesting. Why did they do something called a quota for population representation? So many blacks, so many whites, so many women, so many transformers. I don't know how they broke it out, but they had quotas. We're only going to talk to this many people, which tells you right there it's not representative of Americans. If you're going to make a poll and that poll says we're going to talk to, I don't know, 50 blacks, 50 Hispanics, 50 white, 50 Asian, and then over here we're going to talk to, I don't know, the other ones. That's not representative of our population. That is not representative of America. Just by them saying that they polled quotas tells you, oh, you skewed the data big time there, because there's a lot more white people than there are black people. I don't even know what the number is, but I think blacks make up less than 14% of the country. So how could you equally rate them or poll them with the white people? But you did. But that's just the top. Then we get deeper. Full details here is 37% under 500, not exactly 40. But here's where it becomes, here where you will see this, you're probably reading it right now, and you realize the media and X and everybody associated with it is just giving you a bunch of stuff so you can retweet it and say different things, and you don't even know what they're talking about. That original tweet, where is the original tweet that guy put up? Hold on, let me just go back and do the original tweet. The original tweet by this big account, Unusual Whales, has 1.2 million views. Think about that. 1.2 million people saw that and went, oh my God, America sucks. And if you look in his comments, as you scroll in his comments, they're like, Trump, they told people to work harder. As a proud African watching this, y'all really call yourselves the greatest country on earth. It's meant to sow dissension. It's meant to get you off your game. You see, the biggest weapon right now anywhere isn't a B-2. It's not a bomber. It's not the discombobulator. The biggest weapon our adversaries have right now is social media, because too many people are either too lazy or too stupid to understand they're being effed with. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit right now, because I think a little bit can pretty much tell you how these things are. So I'm going to go to the second paragraph here so you can see it. Grok said there was no employment breakdown for that group in the report. It notes strong correlation. You ready for this? Strong correlation with income under $30,000. With 32% have zero savings, where most adults are employed in low-wage roles amid inflation. So you polled poor people. You polled poor people who make 30 grand a year. And you said that's representative of the American population. 40% have no savings. What? Who did you poll? Oh yeah, well, we just decided we were going to poll people who make income under $30,000. You are being used, you are being attacked on a daily basis, and the attack is happening here. They're not having to shoot you. They're trying to take your mind and tell you everything Trump is doing is bad. Look, these people, oh yeah, make America great again. Who'd you talk to? Poor people. Oh, poor people who aren't working? Yeah. And you're trying to sell that as the news. The more people understand that China, Russia, Iran are spending so much money to get here. They don't need to kill you. They want to get you here. They understand the only way they could possibly win is to win in your mind. And the media is fine with it. And as you see, they will promote this crap. They will continue to tell you life sucks in America. Nobody's got any money. And the Democrats, oh yeah, we're going to get to that. Well, our job here is to do nothing but cater to people who got nothing and leave the rest of you hardworking, wage-earning Americans in the dust. They don't care about you. We have to make these people here feel good. But guess what? They don't represent all of us. You represent all of us. Even if you're on a fixed income, you should realize and understand the truth. And they're lying to you with impunity. And a lot of people are letting it happen. They're falling victim to trolls. Because everybody else is sitting back and understanding and reading how things are going, because we know. And that's why I spend so much time talking to you guys about it, because it's the wrong news. People who don't listen to their crap, who actually live it, like, no, everything's looking pretty good. Up 317 right now. Wow, what else we got here? Oh, we got silver up 147, 148% over the year. What do you mean people don't have any money? What do you mean Trump's ideology isn't working? It's working. I want to show you something, and this is a quick piece about what's going on with people in New York, and this is a kind of story you don't normally hear. We're going to get into some other stuff from New York, but I wanted to show you this.
Well, one of the main cornerstones of President Trump's 2024 campaign was to cut regulations he says cost businesses time and money. And Fox Business takes a look at how some states are still entangled in red tape.
Now, this is a whole different realm of what President Trump has been doing. One of the things he's been doing, which has been kind of, outside the realm of what newscasts are, is been cutting regulations. Nobody really talks about that. And then people realize, wow, I can do things in certain areas, Florida, that I can't do elsewhere. That I can't do in California, that I can't do in New Jersey, that I can't do in New York. And meanwhile, Mamdani's doing a song and dance trying to pretend people get free food. But people who know how to, do business and make money, they want less regulation.
It's so frustrating for businesses. And Madison Allworth is live in New York City with more. Good morning.
Good morning, Dana. In an age where you can work from anywhere, states with lots of regulations are less attractive. According to the latest data from the Cato Institute, New Jersey is the least free state when it comes to regulations, followed by...
Just so you're not confused, the red isn't the red states. The red are the shit states. And as you can see, California, Oregon, New York, little sliver there, New Jersey on the side. Those states are regulating people to death. They are regulating people to the poorhouse. And so this is a kind of study that most people wouldn't see. And they think everything's going fine in California and Oregon and New York and New Jersey. They're being screwed in a different way.
California and New York. Topping the list are Kansas, Iowa, and South Dakota for having the least regulations. Americans are seeking out freer pastures. Dara Patel bought a VR real estate touring company based in New York a few years ago. She says the amount of regulation she had to manage made the job unbearable.
I swear sometimes I don't sleep because I'm like, all right, did I do this? Did I submit this paperwork? So it's exhausting when they're adding new compliance, that new annual report that they're requiring.
So she decided enough was enough and she moved her business to Florida last year. But even that took time because, you guessed
Boca Raton. I saw this and I was like, oh, I got to send this to clients. Hey, you want to buy a house someplace where people from New York are moving to because they can't do that crap you guys want up there? And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. They're showing the beaches. Oh, keep going.
New York regulations.
Overall, any other state, when you're trying to move your LLC, it's super clean and easy. You know how to do it as someone who can just Google and kind of go with it. But New York made it so complicated, the amount of reports that you have to file, the new paperwork and everything like that, if I had the ability, I would have probably done it a lot earlier on. I would have, because I would have saved so much more money.
Federally, the White House says the Trump administration finalized 646 deregulatory actions in fiscal year 2025. That totals $211.8 billion in net.
You know, I had to salute Fox when I saw this. I'm like, wait a second. Nobody's talking about this? Just by cutting regulations, not even doing a whole lot. Let me just cut some regulations. How much we got to save? How much people are going to save in their pocket? $200 billion, sir. Cut that. Cut it. I don't care about the leapfrog and all this, you know, the squid. Cut it. Let these people go. That's why I've been saying so often. And when I say to you, I don't need a handout. I don't need anything from the government. Just get out the way. Move, bitch. Just get out the way. And if you get out the way, people will prosper. That's what the big thing is. Opportunity. Opportunity zones. Just move. That's all you have to do. Other people will find their way if they're not bogged down with all the crap.
Savings more than $600 per American. One such example is the FDA rolling back a Biden-era regulation on medical devices and lab tests that prevents higher costs and opens up innovation. The White House says that alone saved $20.3 billion. In the case,
these numbers were stunning. Not by doing anything other than just eliminate that. 23 billion. Yeah, we'll do that. Just the amount of money that is being exposed as either being stolen by fraud or impaired by regulation. Just by doing that, can we fix the fraud? Okay, we're going to go do that. I can do the regulations immediately. And by doing the regulations immediately, I can just open up just avenues and avenues of opportunity. And I'm telling you, even down here, when you're doing real estate and you have to deal with HOAs, which are, you know, the commie Karens at that point, it's still not that bad. We can still operate. And that's why when I told you, when I said, listen, your people were freaking out. Oh, there's a Democrat mayor that came out in Miami. And then there's a Democrat mayor in Boca Raton that just happened with the election. Nobody cares. Because they don't mess with the plan. Don't F up, won't be a problem. You F up, they'll drag you out of here and put you on an alligator alley. It's a figurehead. You get into the seat and the car is already moving. It's like an electric car with a driver. You don't do anything. Go shake hands, kiss babies, and go to hospitals and cut ribbons. Everything else, leave it the hell alone. It's doing fine. Don't snatch victory from, don't snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Let it go. And so every time I hear these people and they'll text me, email, so how bad is it? Like, what are you talking about? Aren't all the New Yorkers coming down there? Not those kind. That kind. That woman you just heard. I'm out and I'm taking my business down to South Florida. Done. And then when they get here, they're like I told you, the guy I met at the casino, he goes, I can't even believe you guys live like this. And that's not to say that there aren't some lower economic areas in South Florida. There are, but there's opportunity. See, that's where the difference between some of these other states is. You are only stuck in the hood because you want to be in the hood. When you go to these restaurants and they're packed and you look in the kitchen and there's 9 or 10 people in there cooking and washing dishes and everything else, you got a job. I've told you a story before about one of the guys we met when we go to this, one of our favorite restaurants, and he was a server, black guy, Haitian guy. And over a course of months of going to this restaurant every Saturday night, because Robin loves it, one day we walked in and went, "Hey, where's Kurt?" "Oh, Kurt's got the day off." "Why?" They switch off the managers. "What managers?" He's a server." "Oh, no, he got promoted." Oh, okay, got it. And the next time we walked in, he's in a suit and he's like, "Barry, Robin." And I'm like, damn, that's what we want to see. That's what the Democrats don't want you to see. And that becomes the problem that they have.
Lisa Patel, she said taxes were also a big part of why she decided to move. She saved nearly 15% because she no longer has a state and city tax here in New York. She says all of that money goes back into marketing and growing her business.
And I bet her pocket as well. I mean, come on, let's talk, Shasha. Yeah, I don't have to pay this taxes. I don't have to do this, and I can use it on marketing. Guess what? Come on, keep going. Yeah, and I put more in my pocket. Yeah, there you go, girl. Nobody talks about that. I don't know where you live. I don't know if you have income tax. We don't have income tax. And I'm not doing a commercial for Florida because I understand, having lived in South Carolina, I know people who have property in Montana, and all the red states. No, let me not say that. I don't want to like to use superlatives. Many of the red states are completely making money, and opportunity is abundant. But the media doesn't want you to see it. And to a certain extent, Fox. They don't like people understanding that things are happening under the Trump administration that weren't happening before. My 17-year-old grandson, he noticed it. He goes, where are all these people coming from? Oh, he goes to the mall. It looks like Christmas every weekend. And I'm not saying it to promote Florida. I'm saying to promote President Trump and what he's doing. And you have to basically extract yourself from social media and the crap that these people are saying, because it's not real life. And you don't know who's paying them. You don't know if Iran's paying them. You don't know if China's paying them. You don't know if Russia's paying them to try and trash Trump. But if you pull back and you start looking at the relevant data, things are, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't see this. And then more other people, when you share it, that's why I talk about it, realize you're not stuck. I don't care where you are. I don't care what your current position financially is. You are not stuck there. And some people will say, but I can't do it. Yeah, you can. And right now, you got to get to it, because he is making opportunity for us everywhere you turn, even if you're on a fixed income. I mean, it's crazy what I try to tell people. I try to show people so that they can see as well. Let me talk to you about our, excuse me, still have remnants of that cold here in my throat, but I feel much better. I just have it in my throat. All right. So as you guys know, Medicare is very, very confusing, but it doesn't have to be. If you call my friends at Chapter, they will explain to you in one free 20-minute phone call all the different plans that they can provide you with. They're not going to talk you into something that you don't want to purchase. They're going to compare all the different plans nationwide, and they're going to find you a plan that probably is better than the one you're paying for right now. Just one free 20-minute phone call. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're 65 or about to turn 65, it would be prudent to give these guys a call. When I called, I couldn't believe it. Made things so easy for me. I didn't have to worry, didn't have to wonder what kind of coverage. And their plans, they can often save people $1,100 a year. But that doesn't mean you have to have, crappy coverage. If you'd like a Cadillac style plan, they can help you with that as well. So I urge you, give them a call at 475-328-3545. It's confusing, but there are people out there who will help you and keep tracking of your enrollment period so you don't miss the necessary dates, all that stuff. Plus, you don't have to worry about the scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies that just want to sell you anything. These guys, they are not commission-based. They work on a salary, so it doesn't matter to them if you buy a more expensive plan or you just stay at a reasonable one. So call them at 475-328-3545 or visit them at askchapter.org/Barry to set up that call. And you won't be sorry that you did. All right, I'm going to talk to SV in a second, but I'm going to take a break and get something to drink.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
As I got SB coming in here, I'm looking up and it says now they have a fifth woman who's going after Swalwell. It just keeps it just keeps compounding. 5.
Yikes.
And he still says he denies everything. I'm like, hey man, you might be able to deny 1. You might be able to deny 2, but 5?
This is Bill Cosby 2.0, man.
Right? So if I were him, I'm cutting a deal behind the scenes. I'm like, excuse me, I'm naming you. I'm naming you. I'm naming you. Okay, I am not gonna go down alone. I'm taking all you idiots with me. All you pervs, run for the hills because I'm talking like a bird. Cut myself a deal because, man, that'd be the only thing I do. What do you got?
Well, I always like to see other news stories happening in other countries. So, they're having a lot of stuff going on in Ireland, all those blockades because of the Green News scam and everything. So I just read this thing. So there's a Irish politician. His name is Ken O'Flynn. I love O'Flynn. He just went berserk on the government for blaming all their failures on Donald Trump to their faces. Listen to this. I mean, it's TDS in other countries. You're concerned about nothing, only serving yourselves. They blame Trump for absolutely everything. We've heard government get up and stand about Trump. Donald Trump isn't in charge of NORA. He's not in charge of the carbon tax in this country. He's not in charge of the VAT in this country, and he's not in charge of excise. If any of you have any backbone, join with Hilly Ray and vote against his government. Let's call the election. Ken O'Flynn. I mean, TDS, even in Ireland, it's everywhere.
Well, you know that the Democrats came out in droves. Even Obama was posting about how Viktor Orban lost and he good riddance and everything. And the new guy came out today and said, I'm going to do the same thing. Imagine that. Imagine that the new guy they thought was going to be on their side said, nope, we're not letting illegals in here either. And so we'll see the rest of his policies, but that had to slap them all right in the face. They like, what? You got to be kidding.
A big homer dope.
What else you got?
Let's see here. Nothing. True Social. He's put out a lot of endorsements. I'm not going to go through all those. It's
I saw
12 of
that.
them. A lot of stuff going on. I did have something else here. Oh, yeah. So you're a good old Governor Ron DeSantis. He just went haywire down there on the activist judge he wants impeached about who released that sex offender. It resulted in the unaliving of that little young lady. It's horrible, but he goes, man, can't we all agree you got to do what it takes to protect the public? That was negligence. That was negligence of duty. I'm going to say the truth. It doesn't prejudice anybody. I don't think anybody disagrees with me. So he's giving them crap. But I mean, these activist judges, Joe, was it Judge Bo Asperger? He just got knocked down something
smacked hard,
right?
He loses. He got hit so hard. He was told, "Don't do it again."
Oh, he will probably. I mean, what's going to happen to him? Nothing. Nothing happens to these judges. Nothing at all.
If he does it again and you're Trump, just ignore him. The appellate court already said, don't do it again. You can't do it. And so if he just does it again, it's a completely toothless order. It means absolutely nothing. And so they should completely ignore it. I thought you were going to talk about the other thing DeSantis did. I don't know if he's gearing up for a 2028 run, but he said that property taxes should be eliminated, not in Florida. Property taxes should be eliminated nationwide. And I'm like,
I'm down with that.
That is a big policy move that I think a lot of people would love. He said you shouldn't have to pay the government for a house that you've already been paying on. And the only people who want,
I was going to say, here in Virginia, I've been paying personal property tax, anything with a motor in it. My car, every year, I have to pay a personal property tax over and over again. Last year, I paid $1,000 on my car. It's due every year. They come after you. Anything with a motor, a wave runner, a boat, cars, mopeds, anything with a motor, they tax you on. So it's a lot worse here in Virginia.
It's getting worse because I saw that Spansberger, whatever her name is also putting out. She's taxing daycare. She's taxing
dog walking.
Dog walking and dry cleaning. And I'm like, how bad is it that you can't make well, we're going to talk about Mamdani in a second here, but how bad is it you can't make your state work unless you take everything you possibly can from everybody? It's crazy.
We had a surplus when she got elected. So there was actually a $1 billion surplus. So why even need all these taxes?
Because she's
spending that. Riddle me this, Batman.
Spending it.
So,
all right, let me get on here. All right, so I love talking to the people who live, and I wouldn't even consider Virginia a blue state. I think she's trying to turn it into a blue state, but my family comes from Connecticut, and I'm like, well, why are you still there? I try to tell them. But let me talk to you more about the Trump economy, because this is amazing.
Strip out food and energy, up 0.1. But we're expecting a number closer to 0.5% higher. So that's nice. Oh, revisions coming in. This number moves from 0.5 to 0.3, 0.1. 0.1 would be the lightest going back to August of last year. We would be in November equaling 0.1 last year.
All right, so he's rattling off a bunch of numbers that the average person has no idea what the hell he just said. And that's one of the problems I have with CNBC, because unless you are knee deep into understanding what's his excitement all about, you don't know. Is that a good number? Is it a bad number? The only reason you know it's a good number because he's really excited about it. But he goes, if we're expecting this, we got that. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? And I think that's one of the problems that people don't have, and why they don't watch the financial stuff, is because I don't even know what the hell he just said. And they don't make it easy for normal people to understand this stuff.
Food, energy, and trade, that comes in up 0.2, half of what we were expecting.
Back over to you.
Cheryl, these are fantastic numbers, Cheryl. Look at this report, because what we're seeing is it has not trickled down fully to the producer, which is good news, because maybe they're not going to pass it on to the consumer for the next report. But great reporting, Cheryl. We got a rally on stocks. These numbers are much better than expected.
Why are they much better than expected, Maria? That's the information people should know. Why are they much better? Because they're so excited. Well, one reason is they're going to make money. Let's be honest. They're excited because they've invested in different things. We're about to get paid. So that excitement, that exuberance should get you to begin learning why. So let's take it from Wall Street down to Main Street.
Next season, some Americans could see more money coming back, driven by a series of new tax law changes. For working families like Deanna Ray Jones, she says that extra cash could make an immediate difference.
It'll be able to give them more of cushioning until they can figure out their next move or even get to their next paycheck. And it eliminates some of the stress.
Tax professionals say that relief is coming from multiple changes, including a higher standard deduction, no tax on qualified tips, tax relief on overtime pay, new deductions for seniors, and a boosted child tax credit for children under age 17.
And as a married couple, that's $6,000 times two.
Ralph Hirschberger and Jan Nichols say they're going to use their tax refund for some home repairs.
A roof.
Stop right there. This is how you stimulate the economy. This lady and man, they get their money back, $12,000. What are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to put a roof. What's that mean? It means somebody somewhere is about to get a contract and get paid to put a roof on. And that company that's going to put the new roof on, their employees are going to have more work. This is what he was talking about months ago. As the Democrats kept saying, one big ugly bill, and most people couldn't foresee what was going to happen because they lived through Biden. And now they're being told, oh, you're getting what? $12,000? Yeah, $12,000.
To start out with, and then we can move to the kitchen, and a new sink would be nice.
They tell us the new sink.
Yeah, we're going to get the roof. Then we're going to do something in the kitchen. Poor John there. John's like, I can't get another fishing pole. Can I get something, honey? Some new golf gloves? Oh, no. We're going to do the roof. Then we're going to do the kitchen. Then I'm going to get another sink. And John's just sitting there going, well, what about my money? Oh, you don't have any money. It's all mine. She's already got it planned out. And I friggin' love it. I friggin' love it that she's like, I'm taking this money and I'm spending it. What does that mean? When you get a windfall, some people will hoard it and go, I need to keep it and hold it because I'm not sure what's happening. Whereas other people are like, I got a windfall. I see what President Trump is doing. I know what's going on in the economy. Let me go ahead and get a new roof. And let me go ahead and get a new kitchen and a kitchen sink. $12,000 fell out the sky because of Trump and the one big beautiful bill. But they don't want you talking about this.
Your tax deduction will help pay for it. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act signed into law last summer included this new deduction. Financial advisor Jay Foley says this will mean more money for senior taxpayers this year.
They will be owing less than they anticipated, or they will be getting a refund, or maybe even a larger refund than they would previously get.
During the winter. So what do you think happens with the Democrats take over? Oh, no, we can't have this prosperity. We can't possibly continue this. We need to tax, the shoe shine people, everybody, tax. All right, so now people are getting this money. It's only April 14th. We don't know what's going to be happening over the next month. People are going to be getting this money. And it's a complete shock to them because for at least the last 4 years, they've never had this. And you're telling me you expect people to say, I don't want it, or send it back to the government. I don't know what the Democrats are going to say. Oh, you stole it? You shouldn't have this? You don't deserve it? Even though it's a refund, it's not yours, it's ours. We need to spend it. In some states, they don't want this. There are certain states that aren't allowing people to have the no tax on tips and overtime and everything else. How do you think that's going to set well when they talk to their friends in other states? Hey, how'd you do with your tax return this year? I got about, looks like about 12,000. How'd you do? Nothing. What do you mean? I don't understand. What do you mean? You work just like I do. How did you not get anything back? I live in New York. I'm living that right now. My sisters live in Connecticut. And I've been showing them this stuff. Hey, what are you getting back? And the consternation immediately. And that's why they won't want to show this kind of stuff nationally. Like, what do you mean? You didn't get this? You didn't get this Trump money? Oh, you had the Obama phone. Oh, okay. I got 12 grand. Explain that. Explain that to the Hakeem Jeffries of the world who think it's a one big ugly bill. When this lady's already got a new roof and a new kitchen and a kitchen sink, and poor John ain't getting crap.
Doldrums. Restaurant workers aren't exactly rolling in the dough. Many getting their tax returns done early, hoping for a quick refund. But this year, they're finding out their refund checks will be bigger, much bigger.
Several folks have already filed their taxes and have already seen substantial increases of anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 increase in their tax return this year.
Tax experts say this is because President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act made more than 100 changes to the tax code.
100 changes to the tax code, and the average person has no idea, how am I filling this thing out? Just go talk to somebody or get your Intuit, your QuickBooks, whatever, and start clicking the buttons, and then wait till you see what you're getting back. And as I've said all along, there's no button that says, are you MAGA? In order to qualify for all this, click the button that says, I'm MAGA. No. You could be a nose ring, blue-haired Satanist, and you're still getting the money back from the one big, beautiful bill, from the guy you hate, you despise. Now, for them, they don't care. It's just money. They don't care that Trump gave it to them. I still hate him. They won't even acknowledge it. But you and many of the people you know will.
Congressman Derek Van Orden highlighting tax cuts for senior citizens in West Salem today, discussing no tax on Social Security is secured in President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill, exempting 88% of seniors from the tax. And through 2028, individuals over 65 are also eligible for a $6,000 deduction from their taxable income.
Folks built our nation, and I don't want our seniors wringing their hands at night worrying about paying the bills because they have to pay taxes on something that I don't think they should be paying taxes on to begin with.
That $6,000 deduction is available to single filers making under $75,000 a year or married couples under $150,000.
Did you get the numbers there? You get a $6,000 discount on your taxes if you're senior living by yourself making under 75,000 or married making under 150,000, which is going to incorporate a whole lot of people. And so some of you watching right now thinking, oh, I didn't know this. Well, this is the kind of news to share. Hey, Fred, have you gotten your tax return yet? Or did you pay less? Either way, you're doing well. Did you pay less? Oh yeah, man, I didn't have to pay nearly as more. Well, why aren't we all talking about that? Why aren't we all just completely clapping and high-fiving each other going, damn, this is great. You know that gas prices are up like 30 cents, $1.50? I'm putting a new kitchen and new roof on. I don't give a shit about, paying $1 extra for gas right now. See, that was something I said yesterday, pissed some people off because they're like, Barry, you're just saying that because, you got it like that or anything else. But at the same time, I was telling you this. I was telling you, watch what happens. It's temporary. Look at this. Let me refresh. 88.79 right now. So I'm going to back out because I want to show you something. The war started on February 28th. So it's about 1 month. Okay. And in that 1 month, it's down 4%. We're almost at the point where it was before the war started. And that, of course, the next thing people will say is, well, why the hell is gas prices not come down? Well, that's a whole different story. But as you can see, the oil right now is all the way back down to 88.76. Temporary. It may go up, as President Trump said. It may be temporarily, extended. It may go to the midterms where the gas is up. He understands that. But at the same time, at this point, what I'm showing you, has he not earned your trust? And this isn't Barry trying to be a bootlicker. I'm just looking at all the data, and I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm like, he's been dead on. Dead on. I mean, when silver went way down and people were freaking, I was like, hold, it's coming. Sure enough, it's coming. To me, unlike the Democrats, President Trump has earned my continued trust to the point where I'm not worried about an extra $1.50 in gallon per gas, because I can see the trend line. I know where the puck is going at this point. Trying to make you feel a bit more comfortable where you're like, oh yeah, I can definitely see it now. I can understand what people are. Jill here, whatever her name was, she's putting on a new roof. Spend that $12,000.
I take pride in the work I do. The tips are part of that. Now I actually get to keep all of it. I've heard a lot of promises from politicians. This is the first one I actually felt helped my pocketbook. I feel a good tip coming, and I'm very grateful for that. Nice to meet you. I have your DoorDash order for you.
Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
I want to thank you for the no tax on tips.
Oh, that's good.
It has helped my family out immensely, and I definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Do you know that people were complaining about that? People were complaining, and I saw this one tweet so I can remember it specifically what was said. It's a shame that grandma even has to work at DoorDash. They can't accept it. It's the same thing I've told you about people who want to look at a house. You can get a house. You're just not getting a house on the Intercoastal. You're definitely not getting a house on the beach. You got to get a house, over there and work your way up. The entire thing that you and I were brought up on in terms of understanding your position, living within your means, build, and continue to grow. These kids and younger people don't know. They've been raised by kids who didn't have the same ideology that our parents tried to instill in us. And so now they want it all, and they want it given to them. And this woman, who's a grandma, out there doing a photo op, bringing McDonald's to see President Trump at the White House. I even saw somebody put out, and I'm thinking, I can tell you, I've been doing DoorDash for like 15 years in Washington, D.C. They don't have DoorDash at the White House. You took the time to tweet that? You actually took the time to write that? It shows you how much of a moron you are. Of course they set it up. It wasn't the fact that she was delivering the DoorDash food to him. It was to highlight the $11,000 she got, moron. Wow.
Okay, Mitch, real quick, some provisions in the 2025 tax package include the ability to deduct up to $10,000 in interest on a loan for a U.S. assembled vehicle purchased in 2025. What other provisions should taxpayers know that could affect their return?
Well, that salt state and local taxes has jumped enormously, and that's going to be very helpful. It's gone, I think, from up from 10,000 to 40,000. So that's going to be very, very good. And the consumer is the driver of the economy. So the $100 billion in total refunds that's going to be added, which is about $3,500 per household, will really, really stimulate the economy and be very positive. I think the big, beautiful bill was really good for the economy in general. And I think that, we should pay less in taxes and people don't need to stress about it. I think that the important takeaway is that there are more deductions this year than we've ever had, and the payout's going to be bigger and larger than we've ever seen.
We have more deductions and higher payouts than anyone's ever seen. You've watched this show, so you understand I've been pumping it big. But there are going to be a lot of people who open their direct deposit one day and go, what the hell is that? And there won't be anybody around them to explain what it is. And that's where you come in. You are going to have to be the foot soldiers. Instead of worrying so much about Eric Swalwell or this person or that person, promoting prosperity isn't easy because most people, as you've even seen in our chat, aren't used to it. They got nothing to compare it to. They don't understand opportunity. They don't understand to look at where the puck is going. They just haven't been taught. Remember, for the last 5 years or 4.5 years, whatever it was, all we saw was people saying, it sucks, it sucks, it sucks. And what is President Trump? Was he got a magic wand? No, it's simple. If you're in business, cut the regulations, get out the way. Now, speaking about get out the way, as if that wasn't enough, just seeing individuals prosper, I don't know if you saw what happened in New York today. At the same time that Mamdani is trying to give away the farm, I want you to check this out.
This project, that the Nessie pipeline is going to deliver enough natural gas to power 2.3 million homes. It's going to help lower the energy costs, that over $1,000 per household. We're talking billions with a B of savings.
These guys talk so quickly and they put out such big numbers that I often think to myself, you got to slow down. You just said a couple figures there that people are like, what? Billions of dollars can heat the whole area. Millions of homes are going to get new. How? How did it happen? Doug, tell us specifically, how is it that all of a sudden you get President Trump and you guys are fighting all these alternative energy sources? He told you there is so much here we're energy dependent. And nobody understood. What the hell are you talking about? Because nobody told us. And now here today, they're cutting a ribbon on a huge natural gas facility.
And it's going to support thousands of jobs. You're going to hear about that today. We appreciate the labor leaders that are here today. Anthony, thank you for being here. But, I mean, these are real paychecks for American workers building American security. Let's give them all a round of applause right now. Thank you. Because when we do this, when we all work together with common sense, we don't just produce more energy, we unlock American ingenuity. And that's what you'll see, standing alongside of us today, the power companies, the pipeline infrastructure, world-class workforce, and a country that is finally getting back to doing big things again.
16 years ago, the economy of the United States was roughly the same as the European Union. They had more people, we had higher per capita income, we both represented 25% of global consumption. Today, the United States is 28% of global consumption, and the European Union is 18%. Our economy is more than 50% bigger, 75% higher per capita income. The main difference is what happened the last 16 years. Europe got energy wrong. They decided to tear down their existing energy supplies. They thought they'd do a grand energy transformation to save the world from burning up.
Now, I got an insert for you here. That's Chris Wright. And when I had a chance to, when we were up in Washington, I had a chance to interview him. The guy is a ball of fire and he knows his stuff. And he's giving you stats about, the Europe over there. And he's telling you, we just ran right by them because They decided they were going to chase this green new scam crap. You're not going to believe what Ursula, the president of the EU, says. You're not going to believe this.
Is how can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used. We should reduce demand while fully respecting the free choice of consumers. So we are looking at energy efficiency levels such as renovation of buildings or the renewal of equipment in industrial operations. These are some measures, but there are also other measures that we will present or will be the core of the presentation of the communication.
They obviously.
How about this measure? Quit with your crazy green new scam crap and let people do stuff. Imagine you were elected a president and he said the best way to save on energy costs is just not to use any. You don't need that television. You don't need that air conditioning. You don't need those lights on. Just don't use it. You'll be okay. That's the way we're going to do it here in Europe. We're just going to discourage you actually using power. That's a retreat. That's waving a white flag going, I don't have a friggin' clue. So what's our plan? Just tell everybody to stop. Looks like they pulled Nancy Reagan in. Just say no. Don't turn the lights on. Don't turn the air conditioner on. Don't cook. Don't put anything in the refrigerator. Oh, no. Don't use hot water heaters. That's what Europe, you just heard her say it. Instead of saying, what's the plan? Well, we're going to make more energy. That's your plan? Telling people not to use any? Good luck with that.
Never looked at the data or studied climate change. They've shrunk their economy. They ceased economic growth. They crushed freedom and opportunity of their population. Sadly, the Biden administration tried to get America to go down that road as well. The Biden administration.
That's what we have to keep reminding people. That's what he failed, but if they get power again, they got to do it again. They want you walking around with little lanterns. They want you to use lights on Monday and no lights on Tuesday. They don't want you to just be cold up in your house. That's cold right here with the AC on. You guys have no idea how cold I have to have it in here with all this equipment and stuff. I get the thermostat cranked down to 69. It's cold as heck. I love it. But don't think for an instant that given the opportunity, the Democrats aren't going to go right back to it.
Administration prided itself on how many power plants it closed, how much energy production it shut down. And at the end, they left an electricity sector that produced no more electricity when they got into office than they got out, but cost 30% more, and Americans were upset. And here we had artificial intelligence, the desire to reshore manufacturing, put our tradespeople back building factories and buildings and infrastructure in our country again. You can't do that without energy. You can't do that without energy. What we stand here today is a battle that began almost a decade ago to build an expansion of the natural gas coming from Pennsylvania into New York so that New Yorkers and Long Islanders can have lower cost bills and, more importantly, greater job opportunities. New businesses can expand or locate here in New York and grow freedom and opportunity for New Yorkers. But freedom is never free. I thank everyone, the corporate people, the law enforcement officers, the citizens, and the many local politicians here in New York State and in New York City who fought to better energize the citizens of New York, of Long Island, and the broader New York State. We're going to add to this. Nessie is an awesome, absolutely awesome step forward. Constitution Pipeline is next, which will transform the opportunities for people in upstate New York.
I just want to set the stage here for you as we move into the Mamdani stuff. I hope I have time. Here is Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, Lee Zeldin talking about making New York prosperous. And right across the river, is Mamdani talking about, yeah, we're going to have free stuff for people and we can't even, the cops don't want to be here anymore. The contrast, again, here's that word, the contrast of what President Trump is showing New Yorkers and what Mamdani is showing New Yorkers couldn't be more clear. It is clear as day. You want prosperity and opportunity, or you want that crap? You want socialism, because that's what he's bringing to you.
Set costs lower, grow job opportunities higher, and transform the opportunities all 6 states in New England. The energy subtraction, fear-mongering policies of the Biden administration are over. President Trump is about driving down costs for Americans and driving up job opportunities and wages for Americans, and he's passionate to do that through energy dominance, which means energy addition, not subtraction. More is better than less, lower cost is better than higher cost, more job opportunities better than less job opportunities.
Is there anything he's saying that doesn't make sense? Of course not. People, I think, even people in New York, want opportunity. They want jobs. They want businesses. The average person doesn't want to be fed. They want to hunt. I would think that's innate into most men. You want to find a way to go out there and hunt and conquer, and you don't want somebody coming to your cage and dropping you off a couple barrels of rice. But that's what the Democrats want. They don't want you out there doing for yourself. And so what you're seeing right now is a bunch of guys going, let's get it done. And on the other side, in Manhattan, you got an idiot going, you don't got to do anything. We'll give you everything for free. Every guy who turned into a man that I know doesn't want to sit in a cage and have people throw grovel at him. Here, have some of this gruel. No, man, let me run. Let me go ahead and make my own way.
God bless America. God bless President Trump's agenda and willingness to pivot so we don't go down the road of high expense and less opportunities for our children than for ourselves. That's not the American dream. That's not the American way. But that's not the direction we're headed. Under President Trump's leadership, we're going to better energize our country and grow opportunities.
Building Nessie Pipeline, delivering natural gas right here to Floyd Bennett Field is a pure, momentous, gigantic win for New York and for America. As Secretary Burgum and Secretary Wright pointed out, the capacity of being able to deliver natural gas to up to 2.3 million more families is something for all of us to be able to celebrate. This is extra personal for me, as Secretary Wright pointed out, being a New Yorker, being a Long Islander, spending 12 years in elected office, I saw firsthand the need for increased natural gas supplies to downstate New York. I actually saw just before we started, the first person who brought this project to me is now a state senator, Mario Matera. He was a leader with the Plumbers Union and with the building trades. We have a lot of our trades leaders here. And when this project was becoming a reality, that was many, many years ago. But it's certainly better late than never that we're all here today for this occasion.
See, I found that to be very, very important. This was put in place quite some time ago and then stopped intentionally by the Democrats. Make it so that people couldn't enjoy cheaper fuel, so people couldn't enjoy cheaper ways to heat their homes and businesses, so that people couldn't get these big, high-paying jobs. It was stopped intentionally. This wasn't something that President Trump put together. All he did is tell Lee Zeldin, start it back up, jumpstart this. Why are we not doing it? Well, the Democrats said they don't want to do it. They want Green New Scam, and they shut it down. How many people in New York City, in the 5 boroughs there, understand how bad the Democrats and the federal government did to keep you people beholden? There's no way he could have started this thing up in a year. It was there. The infrastructure was there. They just had to paint the pipes and get it working again.
It's about security. It's about affordability. And for a lot of New Yorkers, they hit that breaking point where they decide that they just can't afford to survive here, and they're fleeing to other places down south. Every day, more and more New Yorkers are deciding to leave. And a decision like this today is making a case for that Long Islander or that New Yorker downstate that maybe we can turn the tide.
My name is Anthony DeBlasi. I'm a proud member of Ironworkers Local 361.
So Anthony here is going to tell you how it is. Anthony and his union brothers, they're going to tell you, hey, we get to work again. That's my mob voice there. But the smile on these guys, at least his face, about we get to do this. We're pipe fitters. We want to earn. We want to make money. We want to seize opportunity. You put us on the sidelines. You Democrats intentionally took us out of the workforce and told us, you don't get to work, we'll take care of you. That's one big-ass Italian guy right there, and he's like, just get out of the way, we'll make it ourselves.
I serve the Building and Construction Trades Council of Greater New York as the president of the Brooklyn Board of Business Agents, and I'm here today on behalf of Gary LaBarbera to express our strong support for this exciting project and the union construction jobs it will bring to the area. The building trades builds and maintains infrastructure that keep this city, this region, and this country moving. New York is a union state, and when we talk about building things safely, skillfully, and with pride, you won't find a workforce more experienced or more committed than the building trades. The trades create middle-class careers for individuals from all walks of life. For us, infrastructure isn't an abstract concept. It means jobs you can raise a family on. It means apprenticeships that open doors. And it means careers that offer dignity, stability, and a future.
Now, see, what I love about this is that these are the jobs that AI won't take. These people who are working with their hands are now going to be the most sought after employment group. And I just want to tell you, AI will never take your job. I know that's a radical thing to say. The person who learns how to use AI is going to take your job. See, the AI, it's like a pen. It just sits here. It doesn't do anything until somebody tells it to, until somebody programs it and says, do this and do that. But see, what these guys are doing, getting in there and cranking wrenches and fitting pipes and laying pipe and laying all, pipelines and stuff, AI is not going to do that. Maybe a robot in years to come. But right now, these are the jobs that people are going to need. And just think to yourself, for years, maybe decades, Democrats have looked down on blue-collar jobs. I went to Harvard. I went to Yale. What do you do? I'm a pipe fitter in New York. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now, guess what? Your $100,000 social studies degree from Harvard doesn't mean crap. These guys are going to be making $150,000, $200,000 a year, and you're going to be pouring their coffee in the morning.
When our country invests in infrastructure the right way, whether it's transportation, utilities, or energy, it invests in American workers. NESE represents such an infrastructure project being done the right way, as the Williams companies are committed to creating thousands of union jobs over the course of constructions. These investments will ripple across the local economy, improving energy reliability, supporting local businesses, strengthening neighborhoods, and creating long-term demand for skilled labor across this region. That's why the building trades believe so strongly in building, and most importantly, building responsibly. We believe in high standards, we believe in safety first, and we believe in training the next generation. Organized labor has always been ready to step up when the country needs us. We bring skilled experience and a commitment to getting the job done right. I want to thank our partners in government, industry, and labor leadership for recognizing the value of that workforce and for understanding that when we invest in infrastructure, we invest in people. On behalf of the building trades, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We look forward to continuing the work of building a stronger, more reliable future for our communities. Thank you.
Love it. He says, I thank you for the opportunity. Real man. I just want to get out there and do what I know how to do. I want to make my own way. I don't want to be spoon-fed. I don't need food stamps. I just need you to get the hell out of the way, remove the regulations, and let me and my boys work. We'll get it done for you, and we'll move on to the next project. Democrats don't want that. They're not praising this. They're everything that's positive about America. They don't want any part of it. It's absolutely insane. So I'm going to take a break, and we come back. I got a short session to show you about what Mamdani is doing in in the same city.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I have thought often of the Margaret Thatcher quote. The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. If anything, my friends, it seems that you eventually need a socialist to clean up the mess.
What gets me when I see him talk are the idiots standing behind him. You know, one idiot you can look beyond. But when you see a crowd standing behind him and you think to yourself, do you have any idea what he just said? And I would venture to say the people behind him would have no clue what he just said. He was talking about Margaret Thatcher and what she thought about socialism. And when she thought about socialism, you've heard it many times. The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. And what was his response? Well, then you call the socialist to clean it up. Clean what up? If you just watched Lee Zeldin, Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, and a union leader talking about, we're going to make some money, we're going to see some opportunity, we're going to make New York great again. Yet on the other side, you're going to see this guy, and you got to believe in your mind, it can't get any more absurd under these left-wing loons. I mean, hold on to your wallets, because the circus has officially rolled into town, and it wants to charge you $30 million for one grocery store that won't even open for over a year. Let me say that again. He wants to charge New Yorkers $30 million to open up a government-owned grocery store, and it's also going to, in addition to costing $30 million, it's going to take me 2 years to get it open. That is what this socialist mayor, Zoran the Great Mamdani, the Ugandan-born wonder boy, who's never run anything so much as a lemonade stand, and now it's showing. because even the people in New York, like $30 million. And here's the best part. He's not building anything. It's not like he's building a giant center. It's an abandoned building already owned by the city. So the structure is still there. They're just talking about painting it and sprucing it up and bringing in food. Let that sink in. $30 million for a supermarket that's been vacant in East Harlem at some old market called La Camarqueta. I don't even know. I don't speak Spanish. Don't get mad at me. Beth, don't yell at me. It's called La Marqueta. You ever notice how they'll be talking English and then they get to the Spanish word, La Marqueta? Huh? What'd you just say? Oh, we're opening up a supermarket in La Marqueta. La what? We're opening a supermarket where we're going to be doing stuff with food in La Marqueta. It's like all of a sudden they get to that part in the sentence, like it just goes crazy. But anyway, if you lived in New York, it's going to cost you $30 million. And it won't open for, basically 2 years.
Mamdani moving ahead with his plan to open government-run grocery stores, announcing the first of 5 sites will be up and running next year. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth reports live from our New York City newsroom. A lot of people are saying it takes a year to open a grocery store.
Everybody said that. Everybody who's ever worked grocery store. What do we got to put there? Well, we got to have lights. We got to have, power and a floor and shelves and a few decorations. $30 million, huh? $30 million. $30 million to stock some shelves and ring up a few cans of beans in the greatest city on earth. This is what we're talking about. What a country. What a country.
And a lot of money, too, John. This first store is going to cost $30 million. That's nearly half of the $70 million budget that Mayor Mamdani has proposed for all 5 city-run grocery stores.
Okay, hold on. Because they talk so fast, I don't know if it sinks in. First and foremost, he got a $70 million budget to open 5 stores. But he's going to spend $30 million on the flagship, which means only going to have $40 million left for all of our other stores. So if you can open the other stores for like $10 million each, why are you spending $30 million on this one? I don't know if any of you have ever tried to open your own business. I have. Many of you may have, private enterprise, real world capitalism. That's how America actually works. Have you ever tried to borrow money, get investors, put together a business plan? What do you think would happen if you went to some partners and said, hey, listen, I got this great idea. Okay, talk to me. Talk to me what you got. I'm going to take that empty building over there. I'm going to renovate it. And I'm going to open a grocery store for the neighborhood. Okay, sounds viable. I can do the study. I can see how many people live here. I can understand how many customers you have. Got it. Okay. So, what's it going to take? What's your business plan say, Barry, that it's going to take? $30 million. Get out. Get out my office. You by telling people you're spending $30 million on a grocery store, you're telling people you have no idea what the hell you're doing. None.
He announced this first one last night at his 101st day celebration. The store is going to be located in East Harlem in La Marqueta, and the plan is for it to be open next year.
We are building a brand new store on city-owned land currently sitting empty in East Harlem. A neighborhood where nearly 40% of households receive public assistance or SNAP in the past year.
Maybe that's your problem. You're catering to a disease. 40% of the people are on frickin' food stamps. That's the problem you need to solve. Hey, I understand you're on food stamps. Let me get you a place by the house to make it even more comfortable for you to have to use your food stamps. You just come to the city store. We're not even looking to make a profit, obviously. And we'll just keep you 40% right where you people are. Beholden to daddy. As soon as I heard that and I see the people, I'm like, wait a second. Have your minds gone completely devoid of any inspiration? That you're cheering? You're actually happy that 40% of the people that are going to be your customers are on food stamps? That's your solution? They're already on food stamps. Let's just get them some more cheap food. How about the solution is get these people off of food stamps? Go have them work on the gas line with Lee Zeldin. Get their asses off the couch. That should be what you're working on, not just giving people who aren't producing another reason not to produce. It is insulting. And yet, oh, fantastic. These are the people that sit in a cage and want to be fed. These people do not want to hunt. The desire and innate feeling to do something productive has been removed from these people. They're completely societal's drudges. They don't want to produce anything. And all he's doing is saying, well, you know what? Let me enable these people. We just keep them right where they are and it'll be all right. They'll keep voting for me because, they get everything for free, because if you're getting food stamps, you're probably getting welfare as well. And now we'll give them, a free food grocery store. It's insulting, offensive to even them if they had minds to understand.
Because it's on city-owned land, they will not have to pay rent on the property. Mamdani pointed out that grocery prices in the city have increased since the pandemic, but he failed to point out how city-run grocers in other cities have failed to actually help residents. Similar efforts in places like Kansas City have struggled to stay afloat despite millions in taxpayer dollars. Sun Fresh Market permanently closed this August after suffering from high crime, empty shelves, and unsustainable losses. So despite
Do you know why? Because you're catering to people who don't have the mindset to even care what they're doing. They're sitting home watching old Oprah episodes, getting their food given to them, probably got the Obama phone, but you haven't changed their mentality, so they're gonna steal. They're going to fight. They're going to do drugs. They're going to do all the things that 40%ers like that would do. And so now you've got a business plan that has already been proven to not work.
$17 million in taxpayer investments since 2016. The project failed to provide a stable food source. But it's full steam ahead for city-owned grocery stores here in the Big Apple. Mamdani promised on the campaign trail the grocery stores will be available in each borough. He says that will be accomplished by the end of his term. John?
Well, at a year to open every one of them, and he wants to open that many. I'm not quite sure if he can do that.
Oh, my God. Excuse me. Oh, my gosh. That's not good. Anybody with a business mind is like, I'm watching a freaking nightmare. Trump must sit back on my New York, my poor New York. Oh my gosh, what is this guy doing? Incredible.
See, Madison, thanks very much. Now over to Sandra.
It's clear this Sunfresh at 31st and Prospect is struggling. This is the first section people see when they come in. There's barely any produce.
This is the store in Kansas City that the lady on Fox just referenced. And so I found this clip, and she's walking through the actual store that just had to get shut down. It's going to be the model for what Mamdani is doing.
All of the coolers and shelves around the store look the same way, empty. So shoppers have been asking us, if the store isn't closing, then where's all the food?
A rotten smell comes through the door, and anywhere you turn, you'll see products that need to be restocked. No hot food or deli.
I watch people walk in and walk out.
I don't mean to laugh because I feel bad for these people. They thought they were electing somebody who was really going to help them. And this lady goes, you walk in here and the rotting smell makes you turn around and run. It stinks so bad. There's nothing in the aisles. It's not going to work. All he had to do was follow the same business model, or at least go to Kansas City. Hey, let's see how it's, oh, it's not working here. Where's all your stuff? I ain't got no stuff. Well, how are you we're going to close. It doesn't work.
The grocery store has received financial assistance from the city, but has been unable to keep those shelves stocked in an area that in the past has often been referred to as a food desert.
I'll tell you what, I will live in a lot of places. Robin will tell you, I'll live just about anywhere. The one place I don't want to live is in a place called a food desert. I don't want to see tumbleweed. I got to eat, okay? You look at me. I like my groceries. Robin keeps me on a good diet, but I got to eat. I don't want to live in a food desert. That's insane.
Around here, a good thing don't last too long.
And it will impact a lot of people and a lot of families. The city owns the Linwood Shopping Center. A nonprofit operates the grocery store.
The director of Uptown...
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I shouldn't be laughing at this misfortune, but I can tell you, and I know my wife, and her foot with her hiking boots would be up my rear end if we lived in a food desert. And so I want to know what kind of person, what kind of man wants to live in a place where it's considered a food desert. How did they emasculate you and clip your nuts to the point where you're like, honey, yeah, well, they're about to, there's some stuff on the shelves. I know it stinks in here, but can we get some Cheetos or something? These people have given up on life.
Central Kerry King, who is here with us. Now, we are all here at La Marqueta
we're here with Fred and Joey at La Marqueta, and he's not even Spanish. I don't know if there's some card that goes out and says you got to speak like that, but we're here at the store today at La Marqueta. Why do we need to do that? I saw the funniest skit on Saturday Night Live where they did that. And every time they got to a Spanish word, they rolled their L's and their R's and came in. Drives me crazy. Makes me want to play the Andrew Dice Clay. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't speak the language, get the...
Same site where 92 years ago, Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia stood. And he was battling a cold in the pouring rain to break ground on this very institution of La Marqueta. A city-owned public market opened 2 years later in 1936. It cut overhead for pushcart vendors and lowered consumer costs.
Who wants to tell him what was going on in 1936? Just say it. He's comparing New York City to the Great Depression. He's using that as his statement, and nobody behind it, none of his supporters like, hey, Zorhan the Great here, I don't even think you want to be talking about something from 1936. Might not be the best example you want to use right now. Just saying.
LaGuardia said it was, quote, an answer to those who said the unemployed had been forgotten. The New York Times described it succinctly. City tries experiment. New York City, it is time for a grand experiment once again.
It's because he's going to lead you to the other side of that grand experiment in 1936. He's going to put you all, not back in chains, back into the Great Depression. So you might as well follow what, LaGuardia did back then when LaGuardia opened these community grocery stores, because it was all you had. Look where the puck is going here. The dude is quoting something from the Great Depression almost 100 years ago and saying, it's going to be great now.
Just as LaGuardia used government to respond to the challenges of the Great Depression, we will use government to respond to rising prices and unaffordable groceries.
I feel like I'm watching a Saturday Night Live skit. He's comparing New York City, the Big Apple, the biggest city in our country with much prosperity in certain areas, to the Great Depression. If this guy isn't out of touch, I don't know what is. If liberals are thinking this way, we'll just make it like it was back in 1930s. We can roll this out in city after city. We can get 40 to 50% of the people on food stamps, and we'll have Great Depression era stores. What do you guys think? Oh, that's fantastic. Who the hell thought this was a good idea? Who are these morons all standing behind him, supporting this idea, when everybody else in the city is like, well, I don't want to be like the Great Depression. I want it like it was when Rudy was mayor. I want to make money. I want New York to thrive. No, we can't have that.
The pandemic, grocery prices have gone up, and they haven't come back down. Between 2013 and 2023, grocery prices increased in New York City by nearly 66%, significantly higher than the national average. During our campaign, we promised New Yorkers that we would create a network of city-owned grocery stores, one in each borough. And we are here today to celebrate the site of the Manhattan store, La Marqueta, which will be open by 2029.
Wait. What? See how you slipped that in there? Did y'all notice what he just said? Everybody was told that you're supposed to open this store that you're spending $30 million on. That you had this great La Maqueta for $30 million, but you're supposed to open it up in a year. Well, let me just rewind it in case you guys missed that, because that was some breaking news right there. Some breaking news from Zoran Mamdani. It's amazing.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
Grocery stores, one in each borough. And we are here today to celebrate the site of the Manhattan store, La Marqueta, which will be open by 2029.
Nobody behind him heard him slip that in? So you're going to spend $30 million and 3 years to open one store. Say a prayer for New York. Say a prayer for New York. He slid that in while nobody noticed, because all the news releases said he's going to open it up this year, and he just changed it 2029. So that's breaking news. $30 million on land they already own, and it's going to take 3 years while these people are still eating croquettes and stuff. Wow. New Yorkers, get out. Get out.
Now, here's how it works. The city will subsidize a core set of staples. A private operator will run the store, but they answer to the standards that the city will set. These standards include requirements that at our stores, bread will be cheaper, eggs will be cheaper, grocery shopping will no longer be an unsolvable equation.
Where do you think you're going to get that bread and stuff cheaper? I know where. It'll be like day-old bread and stuff like they send to prisons. You know, the stuff they got to take off the shelves at the regular store. Oh, the born-on data says it was due like last week. Let's send it to Mamdani's store. He'll use it. How are you? And I loved how he said, and he slid that in there, it's going to be a private operator. Oh, what's the contract that this private operator is going to get? And who does he happen, what's the name? Is it Fred Mamdani? Are you going to have a private operator who's going to be running these stores? Oh, is that where the $30 million is going?
And workers will be treated with dignity. 65,000 New Yorkers live within a 10-minute walk of La Marqueta. 5,000 NYCHA residents live on either side of Park Avenue. And nearly 40%...
I'm pretty sure the people in Park Avenue are not going anywhere near La Marqueta. That ain't going to happen. 65,000 people live in the proximity of where you're opening up this store. I bet you tell you like 50,000 of them don't want no parts of that neighborhood.
of East Harlem residents receive public assistance or SNAP benefits in the last year. And we know those are the very kinds of federal programs that are under attack in this very moment. Now, at its peak, La Marqueta served 25,000 customers per day.
At its peak during the Great Depression, La Marqueta served 25,000 people. Why? Because 25,000 people were broke. 25,000 people had lost their life savings, the Great Depression. What's New York's excuse? What's the problem with New York? Why do you need this? You are in the biggest city in the country. It's got to have like its own ecosystem. Having lived there, and not lived there, but visited very often, I used to go to clubs, I used to go to restaurants, stay in hotels. Why are there so many people broke in New York? Oh, Barry, that's because they can't afford it. Okay, why aren't they working? Why are they not doing? Why don't you create jobs? Build something. I have no idea, but this is insane, and he's comparing it to the Great Depression.
To make a similar impact here in this very neighborhood, continuing Fiorello LaGuardia's legacy. This is what we mean by a new era. When New Yorkers are being priced out of their groceries, government will step in and deliver affordability. Now, with that being said, I'm going to...
Okay, let me just show you a little bit of contrast again. President Trump is talking about the golden era and talking about prosperity and opportunity. And this guy's talking about the Great Depression. It's depressing even listening to him. It's depressing that these people are all standing there and must be as completely mindless as he is. I don't even care if they're communists. Do they not understand that he just said, we're going to use LaGuardia's model from the Great Depression, and government will figure it out for you? Instead of saying, let me find a way to put these people to work. Let me find a way. Maybe they should be shoveling the snow when it was snowing. Maybe they should be picking up trash. Maybe they should be cutting grass. Anything to get them off of self. They don't have any self-dependence, of government dependence. It's disgusting. I'm sorry. I just find it to be insulting and disgusting. $30 million for one store on land they already own. They waived the rent, so there's no cost because they own the building. The taxes, they're not going to pay any taxes on it. And it's still going to take 3 years. 3 years. Because the moral of the story is government can't do crap. That's the moral of the story. Government doesn't do efficiency whatsoever. All it does is bureaucracy. All it does is create stress in a community and then tell you, I want your money because I want to create more of that insanity. It does environmental impact studies. It does minority set-asides. It does living wage nonsense. And then they bring in enough consultants to fill Yankee Stadium to tell them why they need to be begging for more money. Everything that a government touches costs double and takes triple the time. President Trump keeps telling you about the ballroom. I got it done for this, not a dime of government money, and we're going to get it done on schedule, blah, 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 boom. He talks about, what's his face, Jerome Powell. He spent like $1 gazillion. I could have got it done in 24 months and we'd have had a brand new building. Government is not private business. And most of the people running government have never even so much as driven a school bus. So how is this guy thinking that it's going to be okay to compare something to the Great Depression? The people hearing that should have been depressed. And who exactly is this miracle of La Marqueta supposed to help? I mean, he says it's for the, hard-scrabble New Yorkers who are reeling from food sticker shock. How about making these people not be shocked by the price of food? How about teaching them to be self-sufficient? You guys know I love America. I love Americans. I don't care where you live. But if you look at this math and what he's trying to do, East Harlem, that neighborhood, a couple 100,000 people tops. 40% of them are already on SNAP. 40% are taking food stamps. And you know they probably have other benefits as well. So we're spending $30 million of your money to build a store that might serve a few blocks of people who can walk. That was the other thing he said. It's within walking distance. I don't know about you. I don't walk to the grocery store ever. Why? Because I'd have groceries. And I'm not carrying groceries blocks and blocks and blocks. That's why they have parking lots. That's why they have parking lots full of cars, so people can take their groceries and put it in the car and drive it home. Or at least they can call Instacart. But you're telling me this is going to work, and New Yorkers are going to pay for the taxes of walking blocks and blocks with groceries that are probably stale. Yet, you've seen throughout today's show how people are prospering. And you saw that one lady, I'm getting a new roof, I'm getting a new kitchen, I'm getting a new sink. You saw the DoorDash lady, which they're making fun of. I got $11,000. And the Democrats want to open up La Maqueta. You can take that and shove it where the sun don't shine. I'm not going to La Maqueta. I'm going to go to Publix, or I'm going to call them and tell them to bring the stuff over. These people are ridiculous. And the contrast can't be clearer. And as we're moving into the midterms, this is the kind of stuff you have to literally call out. You literally have to say, why are we catering to this level of people? And it's not like you're doing, some sort of job training. Hey, let me show you how to be a carpenter. Let me show you how to be a plumber. Let me show you how to be a pipe fitter. Oh, cross town, they're having a ribbon cutting because they're going to be laying pipe for gas. Maybe every one of you on 40% of you on food stamps can go over and get a pipe fitting job. That way you won't ever, ever, ever have to shop at La Maqueta. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Sorry if I got a little riled up there. These people make me sick. Absolutely make me sick. Let me check in with SB one more time. Hey, you going to La Maqueta?
Hey, I'm still talking like Jersey. Forget about it. I know my friend over there down the street, Joe Bag of Donuts, Little PD, Big Rapidi. Forget about it.
That he's looking about making some money, and this idiot's talking about La Maqueta.
Even if that store comes to fruition, it's going to be pilfered in a week. Everybody's going to steal everything, and then that's what's going to happen, right?
And they won't arrest anybody, and nobody will get arrested. No, I'm sorry. He was just a poor child. He didn't know what he was doing. It's just crazy. You got anything before I close here?
Yeah, John Kennedy. I think this is funny as heck. I don't know. You said yourself, where does he come up with these things? He's talking about Democrats. We'll take a minute or two. He says they hyperventilate on their yoga mats if they use the wrong pronoun. They think our kids ought to be able to change genders at recess. They have a unique solution to the crime problem. They have a way to get crime down. It's just don't prosecute anybody. How can I put this? Their motherboard is fried. Republicans aren't perfect, but they're crazy. The wing of the Democrat Party that is in control, Ocasio-Cortez and Mamdani and Bernie, they hate George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Dr. Seuss, and Mr. Potato Head. The American people deserve to be governed by normal people, and these are not normal people. They're deeply weird. They're nauseous, woke.
He's right.
It's a great summary. It's a great summary.
We're at like 5:30 right now. Been on for 2.5 hours.
Another short show.
Charlie Kirk is going to, what was I going to say?
JD Vance.
JD Vance is going to be talking at Turning Point USA. So you guys let me know if you want me to turn that on in the chat in case you guys want to see it. If you want to see JD Vance tonight, I think it's going to happen like in the next half hour or so. So let me know in the chat and I'll put it on because I'm getting out of here, going to go have dinner with Robin someplace, and it won't be at La Maqueta. I can tell you that. Thanks, SB.
All right, have a good one. See you soon.
All right. All right, let me do super chats here and thank you guys, and then I will get. Fogoski, Democrats all have a plan. What is ours? Should we be planning MAGA? The plan that we have is already in place. We just need to promote it. I firmly believe that the stuff that President Trump is doing is working. We just don't get a chance to talk about it. And obviously the media is not going to talk about it. And so you get these little snippets of people experiencing the big, beautiful bill. We need to talk about that. Let's talk about the plan if it exists. That's what I was just saying. Let's see here. Starfleet, Democrats smear job playbook for when they need to remove an obstacle. Well, they took him out big time, talking about Swalwell. And at the same time, understand this, he took himself out. Somebody went to him and said, we're done here. You're not going to go anywhere. And you need to say, he could have said, I'm not going. I'm fighting this the whole way. And I'm going to let everybody know what exactly is going on behind the scenes. But he probably couldn't because he didn't want to take a literal two plugs in the back of his head. Somebody went to him and said, get out. He said, no. Okay, let's release these tapes. Ooh, okay. I'm going to fight it. And like, we got more. And then all of a sudden he's out, which means, well, I'm not going to tell you what it means, except for the fact that somebody pushed a button on him. That's absolutely for sure. Big Who, why now? Well, we know why. Who told these women to keep quiet for all these years? Don't know. Scary stuff. Buddy Sanders, do away with the congressional slush funds for covering up congressional misdeeds, tax money wasted. I completely agree with you. Viking, I think I remember you. I wonder what Brett Kavanaugh is thinking right now about this. Remember what Swalwell did to him during his confirmation? Yep. Exactly. Brian Newland, I just looked up the sentence for espionage, life imprisonment or the death penalty. So can that be Swalwell's fate? He's talking about Fang Fang. They should have went after him before about that. Fish G. Fisher, congressional multi-million-dollar Speedo slush funds runs dry. No money for Swalwell's victims. Pretty sick business. It's awful. Tinley, Iran free, China folded, Dems lost midterm, Panama and Greenland bought, NATO disbanded, all before Mamdani even opens the first grocery store. Oh, that's kind of funny. Exactly, because he got 3 years before his grocery store opens. Brian, does cerveza por favor? 2 beers, please. I know that word. Cerveza. Ian or Landstead, Mamdani was sent to destroy the world's financial hub in America. Trump is going to restore it. I just thought, you're right there, because I found it odd that on basically the same day as this stuff was going on, the same day, they're in New York City talking about this huge project that is going to employ all kinds of people and make things prosperous. Right on the same day that he's talking about, La Maqueta. You're right. Excuse me. Chiosop, fighting over free food in the hood. I'm going to put cameras, live stream it behind a paywall. They call it Hood Wars in the ghetto stores. Oh my God, that would be a great idea. Put drones up over it. Oh, that would be perfect. I'd watch it. Chiosop, store will go over budget, more like $120 million. Oh gosh, that's too funny. Starfleet, I just found out there's a free grocery store in Atlanta. Grocery store is the Gooder. Did you make that up? The Gooder grocery store. This facility is a collaboration between the Mamdani Foundation and Gooder. Oh God, you guys are making me crack up too much. And one more, cheers up. How can you steal what is free? That's a good question. How did that store in Kansas City go under because people were also stealing stuff? Oh, I can tell you why. it's not going to be completely free. They're still going to expect you to pay for stuff at a much more discounted rate. So it's not free, but that dozen eggs might cost you 50 cents. And that's what they did in what city was it? Atlanta? And Kansas City rather, and they still wouldn't pay for it. At the discounted rate, they still wouldn't do it. Absolutely crazy. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Got to go head out to dinner with Robin. I'll see if I can't get the Charlie Kirk thing up and on, so you guys can watch it if you want. But let me know in the chat if you want me to put on the Charlie. I said Charlie Kirk like 3 times. J.D. Vance speech. Talk to you guys in a little while.